Today's video is sponsored by Camel City Mill. So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. This is going to be the last clearing video for a while because I'm going to finish this job up between this evening here and tomorrow morning. I'm not sure how big of a lot this is, probably an acre and a half. I got about 32, maybe 33 hours in it so far. There's been a couple hundred trees we've taken down. Most of them are small trees like this right here. There were probably 30 or 40 that are like 15, 18, maybe even a couple that were 20 inches in diameter. But just a lot of vegetation in a small area, which is kind of what we're used to around here. This used to be a farm field, probably 50, 60, 70 years ago. And this is a good representation of what happens when you just let farm fields go. They just grow trees. That's the way it works around here. I mentioned this a lot of times before. People always say, why don't you plant any trees? You're always taking trees down. You don't have to plant trees here. They just grow. It's the way that it works. What we're doing here is kind of going around the edges and widening everything out just to make it a little bit safer and less expensive down the road. And what I mean is this. Everybody likes trees. You know, they're nice to be able to look out your window and have trees near the house. But some of these trees right here, I mean, the cost to take these down and get rid of them the way I'm doing it right now is probably $15, $20 per tree. Maybe even not that much, you know. 50 years from now, or 30 years from now, even some of the bigger trees that could present a problem, they become diseased or died, or they could even blow down on the house. You know, when you want to take a big tree down next to your house, it goes from a $20 tree like this to hundreds and thousands of dollars to take down that tree later on. So, you know, I'm a big fan of trees, I am, but what we're going to do here is get anything that would reach the house, we're going to get it taken down. So we added a few trees down this side here that I'm doing, and then back behind the burn pit, we're going to go back about another 50 feet. I'll finish that up in the morning. That shouldn't take long. But you've got these clusters of trees right here. You'll have, 7 or 8 little trees in one area, and all the roots are kind of tangled in with one another. But I'm just cleaning the vegetation off here because I don't like scratching the machine for one. So you clean all that stuff up so you can get in there, break out a few roots, and push them over. There's another one. That's actually that might even be a little white oak there. That would have been a nice tree down the road. And then what I'm doing, I'm lining them all up over here because Cliff will be on the saw in the morning, and I'll set up between the pile of trees and the burn pit, and we just keep swinging into a stack as he cuts it, put it on the burn pit, and it'll be gone. That's a cherry tree right there. The cherry trees have been very easy to get the dirt off the roots. As you can see, they just usually have a couple real big roots, and you can shake that dirt off as dry as it has been. The maples are a little bit different story. Come down here. I got a spam call on my phone, had to hit ignore. That always happens. Clean some more of that invasive stuff. I think that is privet maybe, or autumn olive, I don't know. But so far, I haven't banged up the machine, knock on wood. That's tough to do when you're land clearing with this stuff. First thing in the morning, heading over to the clearing project. Hopefully have this wrapped up by about noon. And when I say wrapped up, I mean all the trees down, burn up, and the stumps out of the ground. We'll still have a little bit of cleanup to do, but Levi just came in to work here and he drove by down there, said there's deer everywhere. I'll probably scare them when I pull in, but they love those trees on the ground. They love the leaves. I don't know why, but if you push like a maple tree down, it's like a calling card to the deer. They come running. And I knocked probably 20 trees down last night, so I think they had a pretty good feast there overnight and this morning. I see tails down there. They're running. All right, Cliff will be down here in just a little bit. I'm gonna get started, but what we'll do, I'll sit between here and the fire with the excavator. Cliff will cut the tops off these trees, and I'll keep bringing the rest of the tree up. We'll get a nice big pile, put it in the burn pit. I think right now I'm gonna go around back there. There's probably 15 more at least back there we need to take down. I'll take a few of those down, then we'll start cleaning all this stuff up. Running the heater in the morning and the air conditioner in the afternoon. It hasn't been getting real hot at all, but in that glass it does get kind of warm. And by the way, fire starter will be available this Saturday. A lot of people have been asking. It's that time of year. It's coming quick this year. It is. I can't believe, you know, yesterday morning it was like 36 degrees in the morning here. Unseasonably cold. I've got a lot to do before the weather gets real bad, but I'm looking forward to burn season. I am. I love a fire in the wood stove. I do. Let her warm up a bit. I've decided, I prefer running the excavator over the skid loader for a couple reasons. Number one, it's more comfortable for me, at least. A lot less bouncing around, maybe. I don't know, you get bounced around in this. I just like the visibility out of the excavator so much better than out of the skid loader. I just, I don't know what it is. I'm more relaxed, I should say, running the excavator than I am the skid loader, because you just can't see out of it. And you don't want to be running into trees and things like that. And the camera in that one, I don't even use, but I don't know. The skid loader's great, don't get me wrong. I just prefer running the excavator. I do. But there's times when you've got a giant pile of brush in front of there, or you're carrying these stumps, or rooting stuff out with that huge grapple, there's no replacement for that machine. But as far as pushing all these trees down and getting the fire going and all that kind of stuff, this is the machine to run. Be still, my darling. All is well, my darling. Your anxious heart may be slow. Oh, it weighs you down deeper than you know. Yeah, it weighs you down deeper than you know. Oh, darling, don't be scared of time changing us both.
Mike's walking through the smoke, but we have a visitor. Plumber Jim. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Bo and I.
Yep.
We've been over here watching.
He's quite the guy.
Watching the trees come down and the fire get bigger. He loves the dust, which I know you and Mike are excited. This isn't rainy season where this would be all mud.
No. I decided to play hooky for an hour and come by.
Yeah.
Stop and see Mike. And
Glad you did. I told Jim he's not allowed to go over to the house to see Hunter because Hunter associates Plumber Jim with some super duper good pepperoni rolls.
We're gonna make it happen. It just wasn't today.
Yeah. We're gonna go visit. Let's share your Instagram page.
You don't have to.
I want to. I just followed Jim, and let me see if I can be on this. So I just followed Jim on his Instagram page because I want to do a collaboration with him for some sourdough. And it's PAPOUS, Papa's.sourdough.
Papa's sourdough.
There it is. Can you see that? Go follow him. Right now he has 25 followers. I was number 25. Woo! So let's see what happens. Let's grow from here, right? Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to get some video of Mike, but it was nice to see Jim. It was a nice treat.
And I'm going back to work.
Okay,
Thanks.
We'll see ya. Thanks.
Take care.
Bobo, what do you think? You watching Pap?
Break there. I ran over to the house, headed back over now. I've got about 4 or 5 more decent sized trees to take down. It was a really good time to take a little bit of a break. Things weren't going well, you know. I was getting a little bit frustrated. I had a couple trees that were real stubborn and it just wasn't working out the way that I had hoped, and then you get frustrated, and then that's when you end up breaking something, you know? You start ripping and tearing, so it's a good time to take a break. Normally, I don't get real frustrated over things. I don't get worked up. I stay relatively calm. The only thing that ever frustrated me was like when my socks don't stay up, but I don't have that problem anymore because I wear Camel City Mill socks, and they stay up. They wick sweat, they keep your feet warm in the wintertime, cool in the summertime. They're made from merino wool. They're a fantastic product. They really are. I swear by Camel City Mill socks. 100% American made, right down in North Carolina. 10-year durability guarantee. If you get a hole in them, send them back. They'll send you another pair. I have never had to do that. Like I said, I'm not going to quit talking about these till everybody has feet that are as happy as mine wearing Camel City Mill socks. Save 10% on my favorite work socks from Camel City Mill with code Morgans10. Link in the description. I went over to the house for a couple hours, had some dinner, took care of some stuff over there. I wanted to come back over and tuck the fire in here. But man, did we burn a lot of stuff here. I mean, a lot. I think this fire's been going for about 4 days now. Yeah, but we've got almost all the trees down. I thought I was going to be done earlier today, but we added a few more. One more cherry over there, it's not real big. And a couple down there to the left of the excavator. They're small. But yeah, in the morning I'll gather up the few remaining stumps and start cleaning everything up. And I have a plan for that I think is going to work fantastic. I've never tried it before, but you see all this, you know, roots and sticks everywhere. It would be nice to get that all cleaned up. Now I can rake it with the excavator. I can use the grapple on the skid loader and kind of rake it with the top of it. But when you grab it, you still have a bunch of dirt, you know, kind of mixed in with it. So I think what I'm going to do tomorrow is, once I'm done with the grapple, I'll take the skid loader over and put that firewood bucket on. And I think it's going to be dusty, but I think it's going to work out really well. I hope, to clean all this stuff up, because you can come right through with that bucket. The dirt is like baby powder. It's so dry, it's going to fall right out. Come up, dump all that stuff on all these hot coals and make it all go away. You see what I mean? It's everywhere. Normally, you just kind of strip the topsoil off. This stuff would rot down, but I think it'll make a nicer, cleaner job doing it, you know, the way I'm saying. I got everything in order here. I'll report back tomorrow morning. So I just got back over to the house and I saw something across the road. Do you remember the no-eared deer? That's what we called it. There was a fawn, not this spring, the spring before, and it just has like white fuzz. Well, this thing stayed real close to the house. We saw it all the time. And then you'd start to see it every once in a while. Well, I saw him about a few months ago. And here it turns out he's a little buck. Now he's a spike. He really looks ridiculous. But I saw him across the road there. But it's amazing how the older they get, the more elusive they get. You know, like I said, we would see that fawn almost daily for 6-8 months. Now he's got a little set of spikes on top. He's getting a little bit more, staying a little bit more hidden. So I just got the last tree on the ground and in the fire. I have a lot of cleanup to do, but I'm glad all the trees are finally down. We did add to it a little bit. You know, the more you look at it, then we stake the house out again. It's just better to get them away from the house now when it's a lot easier and a lot cheaper than down the road when they present a problem. We are going to have some more over behind the skid loader. That's where the sand mound for the septic system is going to go. We're figuring that out now. Not a big rush on that. That's going to be months down the road. We may get the trees down in the next week or so, but you got to be kind of careful in that area. There's not many in there, but we're going to have to cut them down. You can't push them over. You're not supposed to disturb the soil with heavy equipment, but they did say that you can mow it like with a brush cutter, but then the bigger trees will just cut off, leave the stumps in the ground, and get the trees out of there. So we're waiting right now on that. I need to get some more information on that and maybe get the system laid out so we know how big of an area that we need to do. But on the build site, the driveway, all the trees are down. All I have left to do is some cleanup. And as you can see, there's a lot of cleanup. There is. I need to get all this woody material off the ground. I was raking a little bit with the rake on the skid loader. That worked well, but I'm going to try that firewood bucket later today. I think that's going to work pretty well. I do. And once we get all that off of there, I'll move this pile of dirt. I'll use some of it just to fill in some of the stump holes. But when they come in here to build, they're probably going to dig the foundation here in about 3 weeks, maybe a month. I'm not sure. They're probably, I haven't seen their plan, but I'm guessing up where the excavator is, there'll be a little slope that comes down, you know, because it's probably about 5 feet higher than where I'm standing right now. They'll cut that down, dig the foundation, and take a lot of that dirt and fill in down here on this low side, level everything up, and get rid of some dirt. So I'm pretty sure that's the way it'll all shake out, but I'll check in on it, you know, once they start building and show you guys what it looks like. But like I said, I'll get this cleaned up, and then I need to go back out and finish up my spot for my new building. They're planning on coming like the end of October, but they said if I get it ready to let them know, and I may get bumped up the list because other people won't be ready. That's usually the case. So I think the next couple days I'll go out there and finish that up, and then first of the week we'll come back over here and dig the driveway. We did the one call the other day. I think that clears tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure there's nothing in here, but the one call will confirm that. I got about a 4 foot cut right there at the road. I'll get 40 foot of culvert pipe. I just found another tree. Look at this locust right here. Goes up about 12 feet, broke right off, but it's actually still alive. But yeah, that one needs to come out of there. I actually saw that the other day and I forgot about it. But anyway, yeah, nice wide entrance right here. Come in, start up a small grade, ditches on both sides, culvert pipe. There's a drain, I think down there by that telephone pole. The road is pretty flat right here, but it just drains that way a little bit. Then I got all these firewood poles here we'll have to get out of here. I may organize these a bit. There's probably at least a load and a half, you know, like a log truck load. And for me to get them over to the processor, I would have to cut these all down because there's some like 24 footers in there and stuff. So I think what I'll do, I'll get a hold of log truck driver Bill once the driveway's in here, see if I can't get him to come over here and grab these with the log truck, take them over to the processor. But there's probably at least 10 cord of wood in there, maybe 12, I'm guessing. Think about that, and how much stuff we burnt in the burn pit. Probably 12 cord of wood just off this one building lot. And none of the trees are really that big. They're great firewood size. You know, this would be a bigger one right here, 15 inches. The rest, 8, 10, 12. Perfect firewood size. But yeah, we'll need to get them over there. But anyway, I think that's about it for today's video. Next video, we're going to try out that firewood bucket. I think that's going to surprise all of us. I hope so. And then we'll do a little bit of cleanup, and then we'll probably get back out to my build site out in the woods there. So I appreciate y'all being here, I really do, and I will catch you on the next one.